AI is everywhere, right? But if you ever stop to think about where it all really began, we're going to trace the entire AI revolution all the way back to the foundational ideas of one incredible person.
All right, so let's just jump right in with the question that honestly is on pretty much everyone's mind right now.
Yeah, this is the big one, isn't it? When you're interacting with these incredibly capable language models, does it feel like you're actually talking to something intelligent?
And here's the wild part. Some researchers are saying models like GPT 4.5 are now passing a famous benchmark for intelligence. But this test, it's not some newfangled thing. It was created over 70 years ago. So what is this Turing test they're all talking about?
Well, to really get a handle on the test, you have to get to know the guy who invented it. We've got to go back to the source, to the mind that literally created the whole framework for how we even think about machine intelligence.
And that person is Alan Turing. I mean, this guy was a visionary, a British mathematician and logician whose work basically laid the foundation for, well, everything. The computer in your pocket, the AI that's transforming our world, so much of it started with him. And you have to understand just how radical his ideas were for the time. I mean, back then, computers were basically giant, clunky mechanical calculators. And here's Turing already asking, hey, could these things one day think? He was challenging this fundamental assumption that intelligence or consciousness had to be purely biological. Mind-blowing stuff.
Okay, so how did he take this from just a cool philosophical question to something you could actually test scientifically? Let's dig into the core ideas he came up with, because they really are the bedrock of AI as we know it.
Just think about it for a second. It's a massive problem, right? You can't just crack open a machine's brain and look for intelligence. So how in the world do you even begin to test something so abstract?
And this is where Turing's genius really shines. He knew that trying to define thinking or intelligence was just a philosophical minefield. So he sidestepped that whole debate. Instead, he came up with a practical test. He turned it into a game.
He called it the imitation game. And the setup is so simple but so brilliant. Okay, so imagine this. You've got a judge, an interviewer, who's typing questions. They're talking to two participants. They can't see. One is a person, the other is a machine. The goal for both the human and the machine is to convince the judge that they're the human, and if the judge can't reliably figure out which is which, well, the machine passes.
But behind this famous test was an even bigger, more fundamental idea he had. He called it the universal machine. It was this theoretical concept of a single device that could simulate any other computing machine. Think about that. It's the ancestor, the theoretical blueprint for literally every general-purpose computer we use today. Your laptop, your smartphone, they all trace their lineage back to this one abstract idea.
But Turing, he was already thinking way, way beyond that. He wasn't just thinking about machines that follow a fixed set of instructions. He actually came up with this idea of an unorganized machine, a machine that could learn and organize itself through experience. Seriously, how incredible is that? He was basically predicting modern machine learning and neural networks. The stuff that powers everything from your Netflix recommendations to the brain of a self-driving car.
Okay, so these are ideas from, 70 years ago? How are they still relevant? Well, the thing is, they're not just some dusty old pages in a history book. They are more critical right now than they've ever been.
And here's the key takeaway. Pretty much every single debate we're having about AI today, every breakthrough, every worry, it's all happening on the foundation that Turing laid down. He didn't just invent a test, he framed the entire conversation we're still having.
I mean, his legacy is literally everywhere you look. The UK's top AI institute, it's named the Alan Turing Institute. The whole massive quest for artificial general intelligence, or AGI, his theories are right at the center of that debate. And of course, that imitation game, it's still the thing everyone argues about whenever a new, powerful language model drops.
And that kind of brings us full circle back to that first question we asked, but maybe with a bit of a twist. See, Turing's test, it was never really about consciousness. It wasn't about whether a machine felt anything. It was all about imitation. Can a machine imitate a human so well that we can't tell the difference? So as our AIs get scarily good at this imitation game, it leaves us with this one huge hanging question. What are we actually building here? Are we creating true partners in thought, or just perfect mimics?